Hey there, welcome back to the channel. I'm John Hartness, founder and publisher of Falstaff Books and the author of over 40 books, including Quincy Harker Demon Hunter, Bubba the Monster Hunter, and a few other things that involve people hunting things. Gandalf's knocking stuff over, y'all, so if there's a giant crash and I swear loudly at some point in the video, blame the kitty. I will. So today, I'm going to give you 5 ways not to promote your book. And these go for whether or not you are self-published, published with a small press, or if you're published with a big press. All of these are things that work in certain circumstances, but kind of fail in most cases. Look at my pretty boy. Yeah. We're going to get him to have his own YouTube channel one of these days, aren't we, pal? Until then, he's camera shy. Number 1. These used to be so good. This really used to be a way to get your name out there. But in the year of our whatever, 2025, blog tours are largely worthless. And if you don't believe me, let me ask you a very simple question. When was the last time you read a blog? And if you aren't reading blogs, why do you think that other people are reading blogs? I used to write a blog. I used to love reading blogs. And they kind of died in the early 2000s. So paying money for someone to blast your book out on a bunch of different blog sites that might have 20 viewers or a piece seems like a waste of money and a waste of time, because blog tours take a lot of effort too. A lot of times these sites want you to write a full blog post for every stop on the tour. Let's say you're writing a 500-word blog post and you aren't allowed to recycle them because blogs want individual content. If you've got 20 stops along your blog tour, that's a short story that you could be writing and using as a newsletter magnet. Instead, you're writing 2,500-word recountings of the same thing that nobody's going to see. So unfortunately, blog tours were once fantastic and now are largely a waste of money. Something that I love, and I really do love doing these, but they don't sell books, are podcast appearances. I hate to say it, but unless you get asked to be on a massive podcast, and if you do, it's probably not one about books, because most book podcasts are kind of small. Same for interviews on Booktube channels. Most of the views are small, and let's say you get 5,000 views, which is good. Rock on. That's awesome. Well, if the site is really good and the interview's awesome, half that many people are going to stay till the end of the video, and maybe 5% of those people are going to actually click a buy link. And you have now spent several hours working on this podcast or Booktube appearance to maybe get 20 people to actually click through and look at your book and maybe get 2 of them to buy it. So while I love doing podcast appearances, I never think that they're going to result in sales. I do them because I like to talk to my friends as opposed to sitting in my living room just talking to the camera. And I like doing interviews because I like interviewing people, but they're not very effective at actually moving the needle on sales. Unless you are on a podcast or Booktube show that has a massive number of viewers. If you're doing that, then rock on. Go for it. Number 3 thing that does not actually move the needle on sales, and it's another thing I enjoy doing, and boy, I'm going to get some hate for this one. Bookstore signings don't do much as shit. Yes, there are people out there who are doing sold out book tours. Chuck Tingle is on one right now. Matt Dinneman is selling out 500 seat theaters on his book tour. And those guys are also already selling a buttload of books. I've been to far too many bookstore signings where it was me and the author's spouse and maybe the author's kid and the bookstore employee and maybe 2 other people. And I was there because the author was my friend. So I've been to far too many bookstore signings that were an absolute waste of time for the store and the author. If you have a bookstore that actually promotes signings, rock on. Also, caveat, if it's your debut book, do a signing in your local independent bookstore. Because if it's your first book, everybody you've ever worked with, people you went to high school with, all your friends and family will come out and they will buy copies of your first book. They will not come to your second book signing. Trust me, I've seen it far too often. If you can get a group of authors together and do a group signing, it may very well be worthwhile, because then if you've got 5 people bringing in 4 people apiece, that's 20 people to talk to, and some of them haven't seen you. But if it's just you, man, I've been to some of the saddest book signings you can imagine. I sat once with a friend of mine on a rainy Saturday, and we had plenty of time to chit-chat for that 2-hour window, as everyone who walked through the door either asked him where the bathroom was or where the stack of 50 Shades of Grey was. And one person came up and bought a book, and he had to work for that one. So, and this is a New York Times best-selling author. I've been to multiple signings with big-time bestsellers where 15 people in the room. You're better off staying home writing than doing a bookstore signing, unless it's your first book or unless you have a bookstore that does promotion and routinely brings in dozens of people for author signings. Number 4, this one, you're going to hate this one too. Giveaways. Giving your book away when you only have 1 or 2 books out is absolutely useless. You're not building loyal readers by giving them 1 book. It takes multiple touches, in sales parlance, to develop a loyal fan of your stuff. You have to have them read 2 or 3 or 4 of your books before they become a fan of your work, and not just, oh yeah, I read that book, I liked it, it was fine. You want them to get the notification in their email or get your newsletter and say, oh yeah, they've got a new book coming out, that's awesome, I'll buy it right now. That takes multiple books. So if you only have 2 and you're giving the first one away, what makes you think they're actually going to click through and buy the second one at full price? If you have 4, 5, 40 books out, you may very well be able to give away the first in a series and then build on that and create some actual loyal fans. But there's something else, a nasty secret about how buyers behave, that you need to understand about giveaways as well. Perceived value is a real thing. And the idea of you get what you pay for, or it's worth what you paid for it, is real. People value something they pay $1 for 10 times more than they value something they got for free. And if you're someone who goes through a ton of free ebooks, it's probably going to take you a year to get back around to thinking, oh yeah, I read that book by Geraldine McGillicuddy last year. I really liked it. I wonder if they've got anything else out there. So giving away your book until you have at least 4 books out in a series is largely worthless. You are far better off getting a 99-cent price point on your book, because at least then it has some perceived value. I have 40-something books out, and I have 350 titles in the Falstaff catalog. So it does actually behoove me to give people free ebooks when they sign up for our newsletter, which you can do by clicking on the link in the description. But also, I've built those ebooks, and there are buy links at the end of every single one of them to send people to either Amazon, Books to Read, which is a universal link that'll go anywhere they want to buy the book, or to our Shopify site, and they can continue buying. You may not have the ability to do that with your book, so making it free is not great. And the last thing, number 5, on ways to not promote your book: don't pay for reviews. Let me back up and say that again more slowly. Don't pay for reviews. Yes, Kirkus is a very reputable review site. Kirkus Reviews is one of the places where bookstores and libraries go to see what books they should put on their shelves. And all those librarians and bookshop owners and bookstore buyers know the difference between a Kirkus review and a Kirkus paid review. And one does not carry near the same weight as the other. And these things are not cheap. I think last time I looked, it was like $500 to get your book reviewed from one of these sites. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. It's borderline scammy. Yes, they are providing a review, but getting a paid Kirkus review and getting a starred Library Journal or starred Publishers Weekly or starred Kirkus review are very different things. And they're labeled as such. So yeah, the people that you want to get your book in front of, like as not, they're skipping the reviews that people bought and paid for. Because even though the reviewer may be completely sincere and completely honest in their review, the perception among readers is always going to be that these people are going to be kinder to the reviews that got bought and paid for than they are to reviews that were not. Because the company that is publishing this review site is predisposed to want you back as a customer. And if they give you a 1-star review, you're probably never going back. If you don't go in the first place, you don't have to worry about ever going back. Don't pay for reviews. Now, that said, there are sites that will take an ARC and send it out to a pile of people, and they charge a fee for that, but you're not paying those reviewers. They're just getting a free copy. Those reviews are far more legitimate, and I have used those services and do recommend them to a lot of people, because you're not buying a review. Also, you're very seldom spending $500 with these sites. I think I paid $150 for 75 or 50 reviews. And the reviewers got nothing other than the book. The website got the money, and it was basically for access to their mailing list. And they sent the book out, and people could sign up and get a review copy. That's a very different thing from sending Joe Bob's Publishing Guru newsletter your book and a check for $500, and then they publish a starred review in their newsletter. Don't do that. Do not pay someone to review your book. I'm not a huge fan of buying reviews in general. The services I've used don't guarantee you any number of reviews. They say this many people signed up. and we sent your ebooks out to this many people and you paid for that. But we don't control them. Anytime you're buying reviews, you're coming close to violating most sites' terms of service, and you're trying to game the system. Also, while star ratings and number of ratings do count to readers, there's no real proof that reviews actually move the needle all that much. So those are 5 things that you should not do to promote your book. Feel free to comment and tell me how stupid I am and how I don't know anything about publishing. But if you think I do know a little something about publishing after 16 years and over 350 titles produced, you can like, subscribe, and ring that bell to get notified. I'll be back next time with more ways for you to make more money, or at least not lose money, which is a lot like making money. Bye.